Hello everyone, Denise here from Denise Alicia Photography, and in this video we're going to talk about contracts. Now, as photographers, I know we all just absolutely hate dealing with legal aspects of business. It's not fun, it's not pleasant, it's a lot of paperwork and a lot of time. And for us photographers, time is money. We just want to sit there, photograph our subjects, create art, put our vision through a photograph. We are artists. We don't like to deal with paperwork. We don't like to deal with legal aspects of anything. But at the end of the day, we are business owners. And as business owners, we have the duty to protect ourselves and to protect our craft. And the way you do this is with a contract. Now, I've heard horror stories of many new photographers getting started in the business, and they start off the bat photographing events, photographing weddings, photographing sweet 16s, photographing portrait sessions. And a lot of them don't have a contract at all. They just give a print release form, have them sign it, and call it a day. That is very, very bad. You have no idea of how many horror stories I've heard of clients that are unhappy with the end product and claim that they never received what they paid for. And at the end of the day, that photographer loses money, has to pay back everything that was owed, and you're left with zero money and a whole lot of hours of work wasted. Now, essentially, a contract is basically a document that states all the rules and the regulations from you, the business and business owner, and the client. It also states what the client will essentially receive booking a service with your business. Now, as photographers, we have many collections, we have many different pricing, everything. But basically what the contract does is sums up everything that they will receive, how they will receive it, when they will receive it, and what the rules and regulations and also the hard limits of your business are. Now, if you have the time and the money, I highly recommend speaking with a lawyer about what are the different rules for small businesses in your state. For a lot of states, there's taxes that we need to be aware of, and we need to be charging taxes. For some states, there aren't. I live in Florida. And there's certain, I want to say laws, but also regulations for small businesses that I need to be aware of when starting my business. So if you do have the time, speak with a lawyer. Usually you can keep it really short on the hourly basis with them and just go over what needs to be in your contract to make sure you are 100% covered in case a lawsuit does start to pursue you. Contracts are essentially very easy to get started to make in a way. You definitely want to start writing, okay, what is it that I'm about? How am I going to deliver my work to this client? What will sum up the rules, the regulations, my hard limits for my business? For example, something that my contract is pretty much divided into parts. The first page is the client's information. Simple as that. Your name, your address, your phone number. That's it. In the second pages and on, I start to describe what it is that my business will do for you, what my hard limits are, and what my rules and regulations are. And, just to give an example, payment. What are your rules about payments? When are you supposed to receive your retainer fee? Is your retainer fee non-refundable or refundable? If it is refundable, how many days do they have to receive a full refund on their retainer fee? When is the final payment due? Things like that. Making sure that everything is in concrete detail. Do you receive cash only, check only, credit cards? Do you accept them all? Make sure that's all in your contract if you're going to have a payment option as well in your contract. Another option, or another example, that I have in my contract is safety. Now, every business owner should be insured in case you cause injury to a client during a shoot. But in my contract, I also state that, for example, if someone in the party trips over a light stand because they were too drunk, it's not my fault. If it's negligence of someone else, then it is not my fault. I make that very clear in my contract. Now, if I'm holding a light stand and I turn around and whack someone in the head and they get hurt, that is totally my fault. Or if I have this really big 70 to 200 lens and I turn around and whack someone with it, it's my fault. I am liable. I got you covered. So not only payment, safety, but what about your safety? Client safety is important, but what about yours? I also state in my contract that if I feel like I'm threatened in any way, or if like the environment that I'm in is not good for me or for my other photographers, that I have the right to not be there or leave whenever I feel fit. You know, these are things that if you don't put them in your contract, then situations like these arise. You can put yourself in a very, very tough situation. Another thing in my contract, these are just examples. You know, your contract will obviously have a lot more into this, but just examples of the little things you have to think about when making your contract is what they will receive. I have an entire page that I have lines, and I fill in from, depending on their collection, what it is that you're going to receive and when you're going to receive it. Not only does it give the client a sense of security that they should be expecting their product at this day, but it also makes you work harder. A lot of clients don't feel like they should pay in full before they receive their product. I'm a photographer that I require a full payment before the session or event. If not, I don't show up. And that is in my contract as well. If I don't receive my full payment, I'm not going to go to your session or event. And if, you know, a lot of clients talk to me and they're like, you know, but I'm afraid that if I give you a full payment, you're just going to run off with my pictures and disappear, and I won't have my wedding photos. So I make sure that I put in the contract, look, your wedding was this day. It will take me this much time to get your images edited and your DVD ready for you, and your photo album will take a little longer. You should be receiving the DVD then, the photo album here, your gallery should be up by this day, blah, blah, blah. Everything needs to be down on paper. Now, if you're into watching judge shows like I am, Judge Judy, Judge Mathis, Judge Joe Brown, The People's Court, I'm a fanatic about those shows. But not only has it taken hours of my life away, but it's also taught me about business. Everything must be on paper. Don't do anything by word of mouth. And don't think that a nice smile and a client that loves your work is going to be that way if they're unhappy all the time. You can't trust everyone, and unfortunately in this world that's how it is. There are clients that will be absolutely amazing. There will be clients that are going to be a little tougher to please, and there's going to be clients that are just there to take advantage of you. I've had many photographers in my area. For example, I'll give an example of one photographer. I just will not give their name and the name of their business. She photographed a family portrait of a family in the beach, and she said, okay, you know, they chose this package, so they're going to receive, she never said how many photos they were going to receive. She just said that it was going to be this much of time, and she told them that they would be receiving their pictures here. And, you know, she's fairly new, so she charged a very minimal fee, which I would have never charged. She only charged them $50. Very cheap. Very, very cheap. I'm not going to go here and criticize this person's work, but the client was very unhappy with the photos they received. Now, you get what you pay for, but that is not the case when there is no contract. There was no contract as to how many photos she was going to receive, what kind of photos she was going to receive, whether or not she had the right to dictate how to edit those photos. And at the end of the day, that photographer got herself in a really bad situation to where the client wanted a full refund. What did the photographer do? She spent the money once she got it. She didn't have the money. Now, you know, it's $50. Everyone should be able to pay back $50, but she could not. So she is in a very tough situation as we speak. This all could have been avoided with a simple contract. That whole situation could have been avoided if there was a contract and it was specific as to what the client was to receive. Now, in my contract, another quick example, because this video is running its course. Another quick example that I feel is important for all photographers to have in their contract is what are your limits about raw files, about how you edit your photos, and whether or not the client has a right to dictate how your photos are edited or whether they can receive the raw files. Now, I'm not sure if you've heard of clients that say, look, I don't like the editing, can you just give me all the raw files? Well, if you're a photographer that doesn't mind that other people edit your raw files, then sell them. But make sure that's in your contract. If it's possible to receive raw files, make sure that's known in your contract and the circumstances as to which you will allow them to receive raw files. If you are a photographer that does not want a client to receive raw files, which is my point of view and my stand in this, I make sure it's known in my contract that you will not receive raw files and that the editing is to the discretion of the photographer, not the client. You booked me for my style. You saw my portfolio. You saw how my style of editing is. If you didn't like it, you can't dictate it to me later. So make sure that that is in your contract, because that is another big issue with clients and photographers, is the style of editing, raw files, and things like that. So to end this video and to conclude, make sure, I know you're excited to get out there and shoot, make some money, but make sure that you cover your butt by having a very good contract. A solid contract will go a long way when things go wrong. And trust me, situations will arise where things will go wrong. A client, unfortunately, will be unhappy with your work one time. It will happen. It happens to all of us. It sucks when it does, but it happens to the best of us. There is not one photographer in this world that's never had a client that goes up to them and tells them that they're unhappy. Now, there's ways to solve this, but if you do have a rock solid contract, you can manipulate it to your advantage. So get there, get out there, get shooting, but make sure when you have that camera in your hand, you have a good solid contract following behind you. Now, if you have any questions or concerns, or if you want to actually see examples of my contract, you can contact me via my email down below or my Facebook page. That will be down below as well. And, you know, I can help you build a contract, okay? If you need help with your contract, if you want me to read your contract, by all means, send it to me, and I will proofread it for you, give you some suggestions. Now, I'm not here to give legal advice. I'm not a paralegal. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know legal aspects of many different states. But I can give you my examples of what I've received from, you know, my state in Florida and what I know I need to cover. So feel free. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe, like this video, share it with your friends, your fellow photographers, and let me know. Have you had any situations where your contract saved your butt? Let me know in the comment section below. I'll be more than excited to hear from you. Again, this has been Denise Alicia Photography, and I will see you later.